down the trade that I took on Thursday, which was a sell coming from here. I'm gonna break down my chart from scratch. I'm gonna show you how I analyzed the market, what I saw, and why I took the trade. So first things first, let's go into replay mode right here and cut off that, because this is where what's it called? I always sit down like at 8:30 to do my analysis. So I always send out before what I see. Like by 9 o'clock, I already have my analysis posted on the Telegram and my story. So first things first, let's draw the highs and lows of days. If we're trading on Thursday, the high and low of day is going to come from Wednesday, one previous trading day. So if we're trading here, the high and low of day is going to come from Wednesday, which is this point right here, the lowest point between Frankfurt and New York, this is the lowest point. This is going to be our low of day. And then this is going to be our high of day right here. High of day right here, highest point between Frankfurt and New York, high of day. And then the previous low of day is going to be coming from Tuesday, which is two previous trading days if we're trading on Thursday. So same thing, highest point between Frankfurt and New York. This is the highest point. This is the previous high of day. Previous low of day down here. Previous low of day. Okay, once we have that marked, that's my first step. Second step, go to higher time frames like the daily, weekly, mark where we are. So on the weekly time frame, I know we just hit the supply. So that's the first thing I'm going to mark. This area right here. Notice this impulse to the downside started right here. So we're going to mark this area right here. This weekly supply right here. And then you can tell that we're having a pullback on the higher time frame to the downside. So on the daily time frame, let's mark our areas of our next potential targets. So the first target that we have that's a major area of demand zone is this area here that gives us this impulse into the supply zone. So this is going to be an area of demand that's very likely we're going to see price hit throughout the next few days. And then also I've been saying that we have this possible right shoulder that's going to come in at this area here, this left head. And then the right shoulder is going to be right here, touching this supply right here, this previous contrary candle that we might see price touch here and then give us a movement to the downside. That's something that's very likely. So keeping that in mind, now let's go to like the H4 and let me show you guys something. So now that we're at H4. Okay, so notice how on H4 we have this area of that I was telling you guys that we're anticipating on the daily time frame, but we're also at this supply right here. Notice this. So let's just keep that in mind. This previous contrary candle that gave us this movement to the downside. So keeping in mind that we're in that supply, now let's go to the lower time frames and see what we were working with when we sat down to trade. So keeping this in mind, let me highlight this for you guys. We had this area of demand right here. This area that created this impulse. We highlighted like this. Actually, it's this area right here. This area right here. This previous contrary candle that gave us this impulse to the upside. You can see that price pulled back perfectly to the high of day, touching this demand zone, giving us this impulse to the upside. So I told you guys I told you guys when I sat down that it was very likely we're going to get a bullish movement to the upside with this being the first target. It was very likely that price was going to break past this zone. But I obviously took a sell in this area. So what does that mean? I'm not biased. If I'm not here just looking for bias, I take whatever the market presents itself. If I have a bullish momentum in mind for the session, but the market is telling me to sell, I'm obviously going to sell. So I'm going to tell you guys why I sold. So let's keep this in mind. Keep in mind that we're anticipating price to go to the upside, and I was honestly waiting probably for price to pull back and give me like an entry confirmation to go to the upside. But this is what price did, and I'll tell you guys where I sold. So let's fast forward a little bit. Okay, right here. As soon as price does this on the M1, I highlighted this. I noticed that price created the supply on M1 and gave us this movement here. Notice we have this demand zone that's here. I marked this right here. Like that. And then notice we have the supply right here on M1. Right there. So we have this supply on M1 that was created after we touched this H4 supply. So this is like, and we also have it on M5. Let me highlight it for you guys. Notice we have it right here. M5 one, M1 supply, and we just touched this H4 supply. Keeping that in mind, and we go to M1, it was very likely that price, as soon as I saw this happen, I saw this H1 supply be created, and we have this M5 in confluence coming from this H4. I'm obviously going to be looking for sells, so I placed a sell limit right here. I'm not gonna lie, right here, like that, at 6.4, 8 pip stop loss. So it looks exactly like this. This was literally the trade I took, like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I closed with a 1 to 2, but the real target for this area we're gonna see now. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. If we notice, the first targets that I had is gonna be this area right here. That was very likely. We have this demand zone right here on top of this high of day that gives this impulse to the upside. So this is the first target, and then the second target, I'm gonna be honest, is gonna be this area right here on M15. We have these next two targets, this area here and this area here. And why do I say these two areas? This area is an area of demand zone that creates this impulse right here. This is a true demand zone. We also have this area here, this demand zone up here. I say this area right here because it's a previous contrary candle that gave us this impulse, but this one is more likely. This is what I always tell you guys, where the move started. This is where the move started, so this is the more than likely area that price is going to pull back to. So now that we have all this in mind, let's go to M1. Okay, so let's see what price did. Let me click fast forward. Okay, notice this. Notice how price, I have my M5 here. This is where I place the sell limit. Notice how price pulls back to this M1 supply right here. And then let's continue. Notice we touch the M5 again. We come to the downside. We touch the M1. We touch the M1. And then now we break this supply right here. I mean, this demand zone right here. Notice how we broke through right here. So we delete this. And then now we know that more than likely price is going to come to this previous high of day and this area right here. This is the main targets right here for this morning. Right here. And then let's continue. Notice how we touch the M1 supply one more time, and then now we get this movement to the downside. So right here, I'm not going to lie, I closed, if you notice I posted, I closed at 704 with a 1 to 2. Honestly, I close a lot of the time just 1 to 2. Closing 1 to 2 and being profitable at least 50% of the time, you are definitely going to be a profitable trader. You don't need to catch 1 to 10s or 1 to 11s, but definitely you can see how price interacts in this previous high of day, and let's continue to see what price does. So this is the first, this is going to be the first main target down here. So notice price is going to break through this previous low of day, and then now we're going to touch, we're breaking this area, the main target. So now you can see that price is breaking past this point, and then now we have nothing stopping price until this area down here on M15. These two areas right here, this area and this area here. So let's see what price did. Perfect. Notice how price pulls back to this high of day. This is why I tell you guys to mark these areas very specifically. Let's see on M1 how that looked like. Look at this. Notice this would have been another entry opportunity to take. If you miss the one on top, notice how we have this supply right here created. Right here, the supply, and then we have this high of day right below it. Honestly, the entry probably wouldn't have entered by like a half a pip or less than half a pip, but this would have been another valid entry right here. It would have looked something like this, with this being the target down here. And you can see how price interacts in this target. We're having a little pullback, so this is definitely the main target that was hit. And notice even that, let's delete this, and you're gonna notice how price, how I told you guys, price is always going to go usually to the main target where the move originally started from. Check this out. So notice price is breaking past this area, and notice how it looks. This area, we broke past it as well. Our entry was coming from this H4 supply, M1 supply, and M5 supply. And then notice how from here, our entry, this is where the bearish momentum came in, and it's very likely we're going to see price pull back into this demand zone right here. Yeah, it's very likely we're going to see price pull back into this demand zone right here, where this is the impulse started to the upside. So let's that was the trade breakdown for today. So let me delete the graph, and let's see what we're working with for tonight for London and current price. So now we're gonna delete this previous high of day. We're gonna delete this. We're gonna delete this previous low of day right here, and then this high of day becomes the previous high of day, and then this low of day becomes the previous low of day, and then our high and low of day is gonna come from this area right here. From now we're gonna trade on Friday, so our high and low of day is gonna come from Thursday. The highest and lowest point between Frankfurt and New York. High of day, and then our low of day down here. Notice how in this main demand zone, how I tell you guys that it's very important to mark them. Notice how we have this previous low of day coming right in the middle of this demand zone. So more than likely, we're definitely going to see price pull back into this area. If we look on the higher time frame, let's see. If we look on the higher time frame like H1 and H4, if price breaks past this demand zone tonight, nothing is stopping price to this main target that I told you guys on the daily. So that is what we have to keep in mind. We just have to see what London does tonight. Because I'm going to trade in New York. So more than likely, we're going to see price break past this area. And we're going to see by the end of New York tomorrow, price head to this daily demand zone right here, which is this area here, which created the impulse to the supply that we're at right now. This area here created this impulse to the supply. More than likely, we're going to see price pull back into this area. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. We're able to pick up some sauce, and I'll see you guys on the next one.